Sitting on the figurative mountain, though, is something that you've actually done throughout your career. And I was listening to something that you were talking about and reflecting on your time at PushPay. And I'm just going to quote you now. You said the most important lesson is really about your own growth and the growth of the people around you, and really challenging what your ideas of success look like. You really have to challenge the way that you're working and what you prioritize. So what did success look like for you when you first started at PushPay, and how did that change? What was behind what I just quoted, you saying, like, what was the thing that made you realize that there needed to be something different going on here for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, your idea of success is that you could my idea of success was always that no matter the challenge, how hard it is, you just work a little bit harder or just put in a little bit more and you'll come out the other side. But I think that the challenge, like with PushPay, went through hypergrowth, right? There was no plateau where you can recover from like putting your foot on the gas, right? And I think, the more you put on your foot on the gas, at some point you realize there's a floor, and that the pedal doesn't go down any further, right? I think you can and I think if that's how you get through difficult things, is like, I'll just put in a little bit more. It's okay. I'll just like work a little bit harder and see it through. You soon realize that there's actually not enough time and that there actually is no reprieve, right? Because the challenges get tougher. The workload is piling. People are waiting for you. And in product, people are waiting for your analysis. They're waiting for your requirements. They're waiting for you to give them context about the problem. Like you're feeding a team of engineers, you're working with a team of engineers. In those really early days, it was really you, maybe one other, and you're all trying to wrangle some sense into the roadmap, wrangle and get the work ready so that people understood, had good context for what they were building, why they were building it, and what were the things that the absolute scope that we needed to include. And in addition to that, you're also trying to grow a team, right? So there's all these competing priorities that are happening. And I think you soon realize that your method of success, of getting to success, of working harder, doesn't work anymore. And I think I've spoke before about that. Sometimes you hit a wall that you realize, actually, what I'm doing isn't working and I'm just drowning now, I'm just treading water, and I think it's just reevaluate. And it's that moment where you're really reevaluating yourself and thinking about like, hey, how am I going to overcome this? What am I need to do? I'm either going to quit or I'm going to find a different way of working to overcome that challenge and overcome that barrier to get to success. And I think like PushPay was a really amazing opportunity for me to learn because I think it really pushed you to your own limits. And at those limits, and you realize, actually, I need to change because what I'm doing isn't working. So I fundamentally needed to change the way I was working, how I prioritized my time.
What did you change? Yeah, okay, yeah. You prioritizing time?
Yeah, prioritize. You have to let some fire, like actually what my good friend said, you have to choose which fires to let burn, right? Like everything's on fire. Everything's a priority. So you need to choose. You need to make the choice now of like which fires you're going to let burn. And eventually that's what you end up doing, is you end up saying like, what's the most important thing that I need to tackle? What's the most impactful thing? And you end up doing that, right? And you have to allow some things to fall by the wayside and know that, or, if you're a perfectionist, maybe perfect isn't what you need to do. Maybe there is a point that is good enough, and I think it's just responding.
Audrey?
I would say that I once was, but I think now it's a balance between, what's optimal and, trying to get the best result. Yeah. So I think, there's a little bit of balance, but of course, there is a little bit of, wanting things to be perfect. But I think, like, as we all know in building product, you never build what you actually had set out to build in your mind, I guess, or what you had originally thought about.
So it sounds like you can now sleep while there's a few fires burning.
Yes, depending on the fires.
Well, like you said, you get to choose what the fires are that you let burn.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't mean that they, even if you're tackling, doesn't mean you don't worry about them.